ESPN The Zone, your home of ESPN Radio, the Alabama Crimson Tide, Atlanta Braves baseball, Huntsville Havoc hockey, and the UAH Chargers.
Can you get me a little typeset?
Now, funny how? I mean, funny like I'm a clown, I amuse you?
You're tired.
Well, the lunchtime whistle and the morning's finally done. I'm jumping in my car, I'm gonna have a little fun. The Doghouse Network's on my radio dial. Big Dog's taking care of business for a while. If you're listening to another station I don't understand, 'cause nobody does it like Thom Abraham.
Give us a call, Steve.
He's a northern-bred, southern-fed, slick-talking guy. Listeners in his posse are the Junkyard Dogs. The SEC from Tennessee to calling them hogs. From Gainesville up to Lexington to the Tide and Tiger Land, nobody does it like Thom Abraham.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond?
And good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Reaction Monday in the Doghouse. Man, we got plenty to react to today, too. I mean, we have just got a lot of stuff to react to. You got the Masters. You got a couple of spring games that took place over the weekend, most notably Auburn's. You got the NBA and NHL playoffs that are about to begin. You got some history in the NHL. You got baseball. There's plenty of baseball over the weekend. Just lots of nuggets to cover, all right? I don't know how much of it we'll get to, but we got lots of nuggets to cover. Today we're going to get Justin Ferguson of the Auburn Observer's thoughts on Auburn's rain-soaked spring game, as it were, and Tom Luginbill of ABC and ESPN is in on a number of football stories, including the notion that the Titans could make a blockbuster trade to move up to number 3 to take Anthony Richardson or Will Levis. We're seeing both, who at that point would be the third quarterback taken. The third quarterback taken. So you're going to give up all of this draft stock to move up and take the third quarterback taken. You're not moving up to get the best quarterback, not moving up to get the second best quarterback, perception-wise. You're moving up to get the third best quarterback. Hey, all right. We'll get his thoughts on that as possible. And there are some weird things that are going on with our local pro teams. I mean, hopefully I'll get as much of that in as possible as well. The phone lines are open, 256-576-4977, 256-576-4977. You can also text the show at 7329-TA-SHOW, 732-982-7469. It is a great way to communicate with us. My Twitter feed is at Thom Abraham Show. The station's feed is at 97.7 ESPN. We're on Facebook at 97.7 ESPN, where you can watch the show. You can watch it onto Twitch and YouTube at WZZN TV. You can follow on Twitch. You can like and subscribe on YouTube. Get notifications, because everybody loves notifications. Go to 977ESPN.com. Get links to all of that. And while you're at it, get our apps, both the Zone and the Blitz app, where you can find links to Zone 2 and Zone 3 and Zone 4 and our alternate streaming channels to get more great programming. Let's begin with the Masters. I mean, everyone is making snarky comments about Brooks Koepka blowing a big lead after 54 holes, since he now plays on the 54-hole tour. But to be honest, he, Phil, and Patrick Reed finishing in the top 6 shows that there are still some guys over there that can golf their ball. Of course, Bryson DeChambeau, Sergio Garcia, and Bubba Watson all missed the cut. But on the third hand, so did Rory McIlroy and Justin Thomas. So I guess that's all a draw. I was dreading a live golfer winning the Masters. Dreading it. Of how the narrative would be if one of the live guys won the Masters. So I found myself in the odd position of pulling for Jon Rahm, a Spaniard, over Brooks Koepka, the American. And how about Rahm winning on what would have been Seve Ballesteros' 66th birthday. I mean, Seve was the first Spaniard to win at Augusta and is credited with inspiring the great Spanish golfers that followed him. And who won the last time Seve's birthday fell on the Masters? Sergio Garcia. And what bib number was Rahm's caddy issued this week? 49? As in 49? As in Seve's birthday? Just saying. It's mystical. It's the Masters. It's golf in the kingdom, but it's not the kingdom, but it's golf in the king. It's the mystical. It's Bagger Vance. It's mystical. It's the Masters. Anyway, I got a bunch of cool notes on the Masters. It was sure nice to see all the best players together again. And we won't see it again until the PGA Championship next month. PGA Championship is next month. It's in my hometown of Rochester, New York, on one of the great old courses in the world, Oak Hill Country Club. Now, I've played several rounds of golf at Oak Hill Country Club as a guest. It's very exclusive, but as a guest. And I've also played college golf there as well. The Rochester Invitational, University of Rochester Invitational used to be there at Oak Hill Country Club. And we, at St. John Fisher College, we played our home course was Irondequoit Country Club, which there was nothing but a fence that separated. If you hit one way right on certain holes, it would go over the fence into Oak Hill Country Club. Basically shared the same piece of ground. There's Oak Hill East, there's Oak Hill West. East is the one they play the championships on. West, they end up tearing up for parking and things like that. First media gig I ever did was at Oak Hill Country Club, U.S. Open 1989. Inside the ropes at the 9th green with a headset on, sending scores back, 28 years old, sending scores back to the truck as the groups would come through the 9th green. I sat there. They would come off the 9th green. I would report their scores to the truck, which would then put them up on the graphics. And then after all the groups had come through 9, I would report to the truck and watch the rest of the tournament from the truck where they did the graphics from. That was my first experience anything with golf. And I'll say this too, and I don't want to be, I'm not saying this to be ugly or anything. I'm just going to tell you facts are stubborn things. I've said that before. We actually would have been members. My family would have been members at Oak Hill Country Club, except for, now this was in the 70s now. All right, we're talking about over 50 years ago. This was in the 70s. We would have been members at Oak Hill Country Club, except for they did not admit Italians to Oak Hill Country Club. And Johnny Antonelli, who was a pitcher with the New York Giants from Rochester. My father was good friends with Johnny Antonelli and Joe Altobelli, the former manager of the Giants and the Orioles. Anyway, Johnny Antonelli was a member there, and he had sponsored my father's application. You had to be sponsored by an existing member, and they said, look, you're Johnny Antonelli, so you're in, but we're not taking Italians in. We're not going to have too many Italians here. I'm just telling you the way it was. It is what it is. It didn't, we ended up, my dad ended up joining Penfield Country Club. That was the times. I know a lot of you listening think that discrimination, starts and ends with race, but it really doesn't. I mean, there was discrimination against Irish. There was discrimination against Italians. There was discrimination against Jews. It was, obviously there's been a lot of that. Anyway, and I don't have any ill will towards Oak Hill Country Club. It's a great track. Great track. Good people there. Not then when they were keeping the Italians out, but I'm just saying. That was the 70s. Auburn's spring game was played in a driving rain on a miserable day Saturday. Of course, I think Grizz was down there standing on the sidelines cheering on his Tigers. He's been to Auburn more than any of us, I think. Understandably, the crowd was small for Hugh Freeze's first one. It's kind of fitting, right? It was Freeze Day. Told you shouldn't play that thing on April 8th. You wait 2 more weeks and you play it into the summertime. I'm just kidding. I must say, I kind of like the format. Listen, I've been involved in spring games as a coach. I've followed, obviously, all the spring games. I got to say, the spring game format that Hugh Freeze had, I didn't hate. Usually you split the team up into 2 teams, and sometimes you even have a draft and amongst the coaches, and you do all of that kind of stuff. But in this particular case, they gave the defense, they put the number 1 offense against the number 1 defense, and they gave the defense 24 points to start the day. And they said, okay, offense, let's see if you can score 24 points or more. I kind of liked it. Now, the game ended in a tie, which should not have been allowed.
If you tried to end a game in a tie in the United States, heck, that might be listed in Revelations as the cause for the apocalypse.
I mean, Freeze gave his coordinators, the offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, he gave them the option to play one play, winner take all, and they passed.
If you tried to end a game in a tie in the United States, heck, that might be listed in Revelations as the cause for the apocalypse.
So I don't care if it's a spring game or not. He needed to, listen, even after when they said, I'm okay with him asking them, but when they said, you know what, no, because they had a short field goal to tie the game. The offense had a short field goal to tie the game. It was 24-21. He says, I'll give you a 1 play, I don't know, for 10 yards, whatever. Give you a 1 play, winner take all. And the 2 coordinators talked, and they, no, we're good. Let's kick the field goal. And ended a tie? In a tie? Now, look, the game was shortened to 3 quarters. So, 24 points to give up is a lot in 3 quarters. Giving them 24 points if it was a 4-quarter game, I get. I don't know, was he going to give them 24 points whether it was a 3-quarter game or a 4-quarter game? I don't know. Because that's a lot. But, maybe they should have done something, practice their overtime or whatever, done something. I don't know. But it should not have been allowed. He should have demanded that they do that. Not asked, demanded. Now, the Tigers' running game looked great, but that means that the run defense did not. I mean, I'm not sure how you balance this up. This drives me nuts all the time in these things. Well, quarterback threw for 350 yards. Yeah, against your defense. I mean, he ran the ball well, but the missed tackles, the arm grabbing, the bad fits defensively, that was not very good. So, as Free said afterwards, he said, and we have some sound we'll get to at some point maybe. Free said, I really like the way we ran the ball, but we got to do a better job of stopping the run. Okay. As for the quarterbacks, they were in their orange non-contact jerseys, and they took full advantage of that, running the ball on several key plays. I mean, how is that fair? You can't hit the guy. He's out there running around. Get out of here. Freeze also did not rule out the possibility of adding a quarterback via the transfer portal as well. I mean, not exactly a ringing endorsement for the dudes that he has. All right, over there in that little glass booth, playing the platters of batter and the stacks of wax and answering the phones and keeping us on the air. Just now drying out from his day at the orange and, blue and white A-Day game at Auburn. Fired up for tomorrow night in his Atlanta Hawks. Is it tomorrow or Wednesday? I think it's tomorrow night. His Atlanta Hawks playing in not the playoffs, not the regular season, I don't know, NBA purgatory.
Who in the blue hell are you? What is your name? It doesn't matter what your name is.
I'm the producer of this show. If I didn't step up, you're nowhere. I put this thing together out of spit and polish.
I think this is one of the traits of a really good producer. Keep the talent happy.
I'm all jacked up on Mountain Dew.
Now, Tom. Hey, Tom.
Testosterone high today. Testosterone, whatever the it is.
It really doesn't matter what you think. It really doesn't matter what you say.
Any of you play sports?
Grace, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. Yeah, no, I'm hoping for a better outing because last night for the Atlanta Braves wasn't too fun. I feel bad for the young kid Dylan Dodd. But
gosh, the Braves last night.
Yeah, that was.
Well, I guess San Diego came in there and showed them a little something, taking 3 out of 4.
Yeah, that wasn't good. No, the bottom of the lineup just can't hit. And when you get your 3 best hitters, doing real well, it's not much.
But you know why this happens, right? I mean, this is what this is the carry. You wear that gear. You wear the '70s gear on Saturday
the City
night.
Connect.
You wear but it is reminiscent of the '70s when they were the terriblest team, worst team in baseball, and they even carried right over till Sunday. I mean, they couldn't even shake the funk of that stuff off. Even on Sunday, they couldn't get rid of it.
Yeah, no, I wasn't too happy with it. It was a pretty awful weekend. I'm actually looking forward to tonight, though. It's another young guy. You got Bryce Elder going against Graham Ashcraft, which a lot of people know around here. I'm sure Drew DeArmond does as well. Former Huntsville High kid. Yeah. UAB and Mississippi State. So that'll be a fun little matchup between that because that's 2 young hurlers that really are going to go pretty far. And that was the guy that Bryce Elder was optioned, at the beginning of the season, and he's coming out dealing. So with a 0 ERA and 6K. So I'm kind of happy about tonight.
How about Grumpy riding John Rahm, Jordan Spieth, and Scotty Scheffler to a commanding win in the Master Fecta? I don't know if Grumpy, I don't know if he plays golf. I don't know if he's ever been on a golf course. I don't know if Grumpy knows if the ball is wound or if it's solid. I don't know what Grumpy knows about golf, except for the fact that he blew away the field with this team of his in the Masters Fecta. So he comes up with a big win there. I mean, that was pretty impressive stuff for Grumpy.
Yeah, no, that's huge.
And
23. I will say this: could you imagine? Everyone's always talking about going to the Masters.
Yeah.
If you wanted to go to the Masters and your one day was that Saturday, and it was just a torrential downpour. I mean, you would have got to see some really good golf on that Saturday, but it was shortened. But it was also just the torrential downpour.
Going on Friday, and let's say you want to go. Let's say I'm going to stand by the 17th tee. No, 15th tee. No, 17th. I'm going to be by the 15th tee, and those 80-foot tall pines come down. Oh my!
That was
gosh.
wild. The tree that came. Oh man!
How 3 trees?
Oh, it was 3.
Down, and 3 of them trees came down. And they came down and they crushed a bunch of chairs and stuff. I mean, how did people got out of the way? I mean, seriously, how somebody did not get killed? I don't know. And there was a golf cart in the video that you see of the tree coming down. There was a golf cart, with the muckety mucks are driving around doing different things, or the TV guys or whatever. A golf cart's going down the path, and the golf cart goes by, and just as the golf cart goes by, the tree comes down right behind it. It's like something out of a movie.
Well, hopefully somebody yelled timber. So
man, I guess the people saw the pine cones started falling out of the tree fast, and then they heard the cracking sound, and they got up and moved. But I mean, can you imagine?
Watch enough axemen to get away from the tree. You got to run in the opposite direction. You got to get out of there.
Yeah, I mean that's
wild. Even at a golf event, you never expected that. You know what I mean?
No. Yeah, that's dangerous. That's bad stuff. All right, let's get a break in here, and then when we come back, we'll a short segment, and we'll get things set up for Tom Luganbill coming up at the bottom of the hour. It's a Tom Abraham Show. You stick a phone call in there if you want it, 256-576-4977 on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to the Tom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Valley Equipment Rental has grown by leaps and bounds over the past year and is adding more and more equipment to their already impressive fleet. Valley is a locally owned family equipment rental business serving the entire Tennessee Valley. They concentrate on the local contractors, building repeat business and specializing in long-term rentals for their local contractors. The benefit of long-term rental is that they stay on top of their assets. If something you own goes down in the field, you have to stop and fix it before you can finish the job. With Valley Equipment Rental, they will fix it on site site or bring you another machine while that one's being fixed. More importantly, Valley is locally owned and operated, which means when you have an issue, you can get someone on it right away, right here in the Valley. Heck, ask for Ross Roberts, the owner, if you like. Try calling one of the big box national outlets and asking for the owner. That's if you can even get through the automation. Buy local. Buy Valley Equipment Rental. Valley Equipment Rental has 2 locations, one on the North and South Parkway. Learn more at valleyequipmentrents.com.
Since 1998, Scooter's Coffee has delivered high-quality drinks with quick service and a big smile. And the folks at Scooter's Coffee know a great cup of coffee or other drink can bring a smile to just about anyone. Yes, we specialize in great coffee, but Scooter's also has smoothies, teas, and delicious food items, too. Scooter's Coffee, 700 Governors Drive, just east of the Parkway. Amazing people, amazing drinks, amazingly fast. Find out more at scooterscoffee.com.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. You know, you'll hear people say we're like a family, but here at the Lackey Law Firm, that's really true, not just a saying.
I'm Justin Lackey. With my father and my sister, we have a special connection to each other.
I'm Jennifer Lackey. At the Lackey Law Firm, when we take on your case, you become part of our family. You really do.
And we'll always do whatever it takes to get everything you deserve.
If you're injured, you worry about getting well, not about paperwork or insurance companies or figuring out how to get to your lawyer's office. I'll come to you.
We worry about your case so you don't have to.
When you've been injured, we know that your case is probably the biggest thing going on in your life. More important than almost anything else.
And it's important to us too, for one simple reason. Family takes care of each other, and at the Lackey Law Firm, we'll take care of you.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
TOC Sports has been there for you. Now, you're probably asking yourself, what does that mean? It means for more than 20 years, Alabama's largest orthopedic group has been there providing coverage and care to more schools and student athletes in the Tennessee Valley than any other group. It means whether you are the star football player, the all-region volleyball ace, or someone who hurt their knee in a weekend pickup basketball game, TOC Sports physicians are proud to have the opportunity to care for all your orthopedic needs. It means for parents, coaches, athletes, desk jockeys, or even weekend warriors, TOC Sports physicians continue to meet and exceed the orthopedic and sports medicine needs of our community. But most importantly, during these challenging times, we're here for you now, and will continue to be here. So as long as there are players on the field, games to be played, and contests to be won, the orthopedic specialists from TOC Sports will be ready to help. We don't know what the future holds, but you can count on the TOC Sports team to stay committed to you, so you can stay in the game. Call 256-539-2728 today and ask to see a TOC Sports physician. Check them out online, also Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
April means A-Day.
You know, folks, the more things change, the more they remain the same. Alabama is still Alabama.
Listen to Alabama football all season long on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
To you by Valley Equipment Rental. You know, Valley Equipment has grown by leaps and bounds over the past year, and they're adding more and more equipment to their already impressive fleet at Valley Equipment Rental, and they're locally owned.
I mean, Ross Roberts and his team, they do such a tremendous job. They're so well informed about what they're doing over there. They know exactly what the needs are of this community. They know where everything goes and where it's supposed to be delivered to. I mean, they're tremendous. And they take care of the homeowner as well. And don't be afraid if I don't know how to use that. How to use an air compressor. I don't know. Well, he's going to help you out with that. He's going to take care of you with that. Do a tremendous job. It's Valley Equipment Rental. Two locations. They've got one on the North Parkway, one on the South Parkway. Two locations. Two. Go to valleyequipmentrents.com. Learn more. valleyequipmentrents.com. Phone lines are open. Short segment if you want to jump in. 256-576-4977. Our beloved Rocket City Trash Pandas. They did something which is really, really hard to do. I mean, they pitched a 7-inning no-hitter on Saturday and lost the game 7-5. And this one was picked up nationally by ESPN.com and others. And people are talking about this. The team had a no-hitter and lost the game 7-5. Not 1-0. They lost 7-5. I mean, how is this possible? You ask? I'm glad you asked. Colin Crow pitches 6 brilliant innings. 6 brilliant innings. And he was pulled for the 7th after throwing just 78 pitches. Do you know how hard it is to only throw 78 pitches in 6 innings? Not 4 innings or 5, 6 innings, 78 pitches. I'm no math major, but that's like 8 pitches an inning to get 3 outs. No. 8, 10, 6. That's like 12 pitches an inning. I told you I wasn't a math major.
Neither was I. That's why I didn't want to correct you.
Okay, 78 divided by 6. It's 13 pitches an inning. To get 3 outs. 13 pitches an inning. 78 pitches. That's it. So in the final inning, the Trash Pandas break out 2 relief pitchers who proceeded to walk 5 guys, hit 4 guys, and commit 6 errors, giving up 7 runs in the 7th inning, which was the last inning. I mean, do you think that Andy Shansley wishes that he just let the crow fly? You know?
I get it. That was good.
Get it? Did you see what I did there? You see what I did there? As the crow fly. You see what I did there? But Chris, I have never heard of something like that in my life. A no-hitter that they lost 7-5.
So
I think they only allowed 1 hit in the second game. They won the second game. I think they only allowed 1 or 2 hits in the second game of a doubleheader.
So not only was I think the only time you've ever heard that. So Aaron Cheris, great media relations over at the Trash Pandas, and he literally had, this is the second time recorded in professional baseball that a team has allowed 7 runs, a no-hitter, and a loss. The only other time was August 31st in 1948 when the Wellsville Red Sox no-hit the Locksport Reds in a 7-3 loss in the Pony League.
Any professional baseball, guys getting paid a sandwich to play the game, they had to go through and look at every game that was ever.
And it was the second. And it was the second no hitter for the Trash Pandas from last year when they had a combined no hitter.
And 1 hit they allowed in the second game. So in 14 innings they allowed 1 hit. They won the second game 3-0 on a 1-hitter. Do you think that he would? You think that Andy? I wish I could talk to Andy Schatz.
Well, the thing was
did he say, look, I got to leave Coleman? Why didn't I leave Coleman Crow? I said Colin Crow, Coleman Crow. Why didn't I leave Coleman Crow in the game? First of all, let the kid finish a no-hitter.
Plus, it's the 7-inning rule, so it's 7 innings, and Sam Bachman in the second game had 9 strikeouts in 5 innings. So he might have been able to go. I don't know how many pitches he had. I'd have to look back but be able to go the distance.
I've never seen anything like this in my life. Walking guys, hitting guys, dropping balls that would have been an error. Or that would have been the final out. Jeremiah Jackson, I hate to call these young kids out, but Jeremiah Jackson, the outfielder, second-round draft pick of the Angels in 2018, he dropped the ball for an error that put the Lookouts ahead 4-3. I mean, it was, he used to be an infielder. They moved him to the outfield. He's 23 years old, but come on.
I honestly didn't expect
catch the ball.
I didn't honestly expect the games to get in. The way it rained all day. I mean, I get it. They have the tarp and everything. It was just
miserable.
Just a weird day.
Miserable day. And then Eric Torres comes in the game, the lefty. He was the 14th round pick in 2021. He hits 3 straight guys. He just comes in and starts hitting people. I mean, is that a no-hitter?
Grudge. It was a grudge, man.
He just started hitting people. And then after he hit a bunch of people to load the bases, he throws a walk, and that gets a run in. And then after he walks a guy in, he throws a wild pitch that allows 2 guys in. I don't call him out by name.
Everybody's got a bad day. Everybody's got a bad day. These guys are pros. They'll bounce back. It's early in the season.
Yeah. I mean, I don't mean to call him out by name. Just saying. They got a new deal. Grizz, did you see that? They got a new deal. You know what the AA guys get? Now, this is outside of their bonus that they would have gotten when they were drafted.
No, I didn't read into
salary.
that.
What do you think the players on the Trash Pandas make in terms of base salary, minimum salary? Now remember, if a guy gets signed to a deal and he's on a 40-minute whatever, then he's got, that big bonus that he got and all that kind of stuff. But for the most part, they all just get a salary. What do you think a player on the Trash Pandas is playing a 5-month season? What do you think they get?
27, 30?
Pretty good job by you. $30,250. Do you know what they were making up until this new contract? This year with this new contract?
No, I don't know.
$13,800. That's what they were making. $13,800. Now they get $30,250 and housing.
That's good. That's great for them. Yeah, that's great for baseball. Yeah, that's great for the guys. Be able to 5 guys deep. I know hockey players do it too. They've got the apartments. They got 5 guys in there.
Yeah,
it's tough.
All right, let me get a break because we got Thom Lugumil standing by. And, Philip, if you can hang in there, we'll get to you in a little bit. But I got Lugs coming up next right here on the Thom Abraham Show, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Gunner's Landing is one of the Tennessee Valley's finest golf experiences. Just 35 minutes from downtown Huntsville, Gunner's Landing's 18-hole championship Jewel is open to the public 7 days a week. Located in the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains, Gunner's Landing offers you a golf experience like no other. With beautiful Lake Gunnersville views throughout the round, Gunner's Landing is golf the way nature intended. Gunner's Landing's Club Repair Shop offers a full range of services, including re-gripping and adjusting the lofts and lies of your clubs, even putters. Since the work is done in-house, your clubs will be returned to you in a timely manner. Unmatched in the North Alabama area, it is Gunner's Landing. Schedule your tee time today at gunnerslandinggolf.com. That's gunnerslandinggolf.com.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
3, 2, 1, Trash Panda Nation, ignite the fun. Let's rock it.
2023 Trash Panda season is on. Single game tickets are now available for every home game, 27 fireworks shows, 6 bobblehead giveaways, 5 jersey auctions, and much, much more. Get your tickets for the 2023 season now at TrashPandasBaseball.com.
Let's rock it.
Are you in the market for a recreational vehicle? Do you want to get out and see more of this beautiful country? Well, imagine hearing the laughter of your little ones enjoying gooey s'mores by a cozy campfire and making lasting memories with your friends and family from the comfort of a new camper. We can make your dreams come true at Hall's RV. With over 15 years in the camping business, we know how to get our customers into the perfect camper. We have several models and floor plans here for you to choose from, both new and used. We're family owned and operated with fantastic deals and great service. Everyone wants to work with people they can trust, so come on down to Hall's RV and get the deal of a lifetime. We'll treat you right and get you on the road in the camper of your dreams. Visit us on Highway 431 in Albertville. Hall's RVs, where we sell fun. Or see us on the web at www.hallsrvsales.com.
From the Alabama Crimson Tide to the Atlanta Braves, we are 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
And welcome back, Thom Abraham Show. Segment of the show is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford. They've been bringing us Tom Luganville for years. Service department is second to none down there at Woody Anderson Ford. Their inventory is back up as well, and the new cars, and of course the pre-owned, certified gold pre-owned is outstanding as well. Excuse me. Just head to WoodyAndersonFord.com and learn more. That's WoodyAndersonFord.com. Make your service appointment today. All right, Luke joins us now on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, fresh off of his game that he did, and I think he had Renegades and Orlando, and that was an exciting one. Went right down to the wire. Luke, welcome in. How are you?
I'm good, buddy. Good afternoon. How are you?
I am fantastic, and with 2 games to go in the regular season of the XFL, playoffs are shaping up pretty much. It feels like, and this happens in the NFL, so we're not going to, this happens all the time, but it feels like we're going to leave a team out of the playoffs that might be better than teams that are going to be in the playoffs. Houston and Arlington, they should call them Dallas, are going out of the South Division, and it looks like it'll be the Defenders and the Battlehawks. The Sea Dragons are a pretty sporty team, though, but it looks like at 5-3 right now, they're going to be on the outside looking in possibly, and they may be better than either Houston or Arlington.
Yeah, and I think my only pushback on that, and you're right, because Seattle's been one of the most improved teams in the league since starting 0-2, but a lot of their problems are self-inflicted. Their quarterback at times, Ben DiNucci, can be really, really good, but he's also been a turnover machine, and so they've kind of gotten themselves in trouble on their own accord. And so you're right, they might be one of the better teams, but I don't know if I believe that they will have deserved it to get in. And so, clearly DC has separated themselves. What a game last night, by the way. I mean, to go on the road, and that was a game that I had in the opener between DC and Seattle really just screwed it up. It wasn't so much that DC had beat them. And so good to see DC get back on track. I don't think there's any question about that. And it's going to be interesting, after seeing Arlington for the first time this past weekend, and then I've got them this coming weekend at DC, and to see just how much they can improve offensively, because they're a really good defensive football team, but they've been an absolute mess on offense. And then, of course, made the trade for Luis Perez, and now, he played good enough to win the other day. I didn't think their team played very good. I thought they were sloppy. I thought they were heavily penalized, but they're really good on defense, so it gives Arlington a chance.
I was going to ask you who Luis Perez was playing for this week. I thought he was like all-time quarterback. You know what I mean? Like when we played a backyard and one dude is all-time quarterback. He plays quarterback for everybody because that's how Luis Perez is. I mean, every league, every team in every league. I mean, Luis Perez, I'd love to see him with one of those suitcases, the hard side suitcase with like the stickers on it of all of the teams he's played for. I mean, he's amazing.
What's so crazy about that, too, is I actually broadcasted his Division II national championship game.
Oh my God!
And
really?
he was, he was the quarterback at Texas A&M Commerce. And I can honestly tell you that if you would have told me I would have ever run Perez ever again at that, that said, why? And this guy just loves ball. He loves to play. He's been active rosters in the NFL. It's never quite unfolded. And he just really, really likes to play. And given the quarterback problems at Arlington, he is an improvement. I think that's something that's going to be interesting. If Arlington could somehow win these next two, all right, then all of a sudden they could get hot. But the only way that's going to happen is if Luis Perez plays really, really well.
And St. Louis seems like they're a very sporty team as well. Now, I caught the end of that game. Did A.J. McCarron get hurt? Is that what happened? He got a shoulder injury or something like that? Is that
the week before?
The week before. Okay. Is there any thought as to whether or not he's going to be back at all, or what's the story there?
Well, listening to Anthony Beck, the head coach, he referenced it in the open of the broadcast, and they felt like A.J. could have played. A.J. felt like he could have played. And they just said, you know what, we got a wider vision here. We got to start looking a little further down and making sure that for a playoff spot that we have you full go for the playoffs. And they didn't travel him. So Nick Tiano did a great job. They've got a great home field advantage. Vegas did what Vegas has done all year long. They find ways to lose games. I think St. Louis is one of the best coached teams in the league.
Right.
The one thing St. Louis doesn't have is they do not have very much speed on offense. They've got a really sound running game. They've got really big receivers that can create mismatches, but they don't have some of the guys that Houston or even D.C. or, let's say, Seattle has that Ja'Cory Pearson kid that can really run. St. Louis doesn't have that. And so I think they're a team that has to stay in control of the game because they're not the type of team that can just become explosive all of a sudden if they are down.
Tom Luganbill with us here, having a little trouble with his connection. But, Lugs, who is Anthony Beck's coordinators? Does he got – because he is the only coach that's in this league, and I don't mean to be ugly, but it is facts are stubborn things. Yeah. He's the only inexperienced coach in this league that is having any success because let's just tell it the way it is. I mean, whether it's T-Buck, in Orlando or whether it's Hines Ward in San Antonio or whether it's Rod Woodson, those are the three worst teams in the league, and they all got guys that they just said, okay, you're a coach now, and they're all struggling. The staffs that are more experienced are the teams that are winning in this league.
Yeah.
Except for Anthony Beck, who had never been really a head coach. He was a tight ends coach with the San Diego Fleet, the Alliance, when I was doing that game. But does he have some experience on the boundary with him?
He really does, and he's got it in the personnel side too. He's got a director of personnel by the name of Dave Bowler, who was an NFL scout for over 25 years. He was a former college coach. They work hand in hand together, putting this together. And then they've got a lot of guys. I mean, Bruce Gradkowski is the offensive coordinator, but Roy Glover, the former All-Pro, who actually played for my dad at San Diego State as their defensive line coach. Ricky Proles, their wide receiver coach. They've done a really good job. I'll tell you what they've done a good job of is they have ensured, I think, and this was a mandate from Anthony Beck, we can't coach these guys and expect them to play like we did if we were a 10-year All-Pro. Because if they were that guy, they wouldn't be in the XFL.
Yeah, right.
And so what they've really done, I think, a good job of is coaching guys up to their ability level and maximizing what it is that they can do without having an unrealistic expectation. So if Roy Glover could line up 4 defensive spots along the front, and he could win on initial quickness alone and then a counter and then another counter on top of that, but you've got a guy that you're coaching that's not capable of doing that, you can't coach with the expectation level that he's going to do what you do. And I think, you referenced it, and I don't want to speak, ill of Hines Ward or Buck or Rod Woodson, but I've seen a little bit of that I've seen frustration on the sideline from those guys because for them, they were so special. And it was oftentimes easy. And then when they see it not happening and it's all of a sudden hard, that's really difficult for them to deal with.
Tom Luganbill with us here talking some football, XFL stuff. By the way, before we get off the X, I got to say, not a fan of the overtime. I know this was the first time we had overtime, in this iteration or in the last time. Did you have any of it when you were coaching in the league that year in 2001? Did they have much overtime, and what did overtime look like then?
Well, I don't know if you remember this, but we were the game that started the beginning of the end because we were the second week of the season, Chicago at L.A., and we had a barn burner that went into double overtime and leaked into the beginning of Saturday Night Live. So they missed. Saturday Night Live did not air with J-Lo's, who was hosting, Jennifer Lopez was hosting, and all hell started breaking loose at NBC. And so what was interesting, though, about our overtime in 2001, and I really liked this, is everybody got the ball at the 25-yard line. You had 4 downs. And let's just say on the second down, you scored a touchdown. That meant that the next team, when their overtime started, they had to score in 2 downs.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I don't understand though why the resistance of just lining up and playing football. Just and both teams get to touch the ball, whatever it is, or putting it in a place where you can't kick a field goal right off the bat, put it at the 40-yard line or the 50-yard line and each team starts there, or something that's more football. Like I do not like what I saw over the weekend. All right, that's free throws.
The penalty kick?
I don't like the penalty kicks. That's free throws, that's penalty kicks, that's soccer, that 2-point conversion. You're designing an entire football game on the 2-point conversion, and saying, okay, I don't like that. I mean, let's play a little football, give my defense a chance. I wasn't a fan of that, but we'll see. I'm a fan of a lot of the things that they do. That was not something that, and is it that way in the playoffs? I mean, are we going to decide a championship that way?
Oh, absolutely. If that's the way it goes down to it. It's kind of interesting, too, because there's a reason that we hadn't had any overtime until this past weekend, and that's because of the extra points. It's very difficult to end in a tie, given the amount of ways that you can score, and then what your choices are to score after. And so that's why we've had a lot of 22 to 18, right? 26 to 19. We've had a lot of scores like that, and it's hard to get tied.
Yeah, that's a good point. All right, I got to ask you about this before I let you go. There are multiple mock drafts. We're only 3 weeks out from the draft now, 2 weeks out from the draft. There are multiple mock drafts that have the Titans moving up with a trade with the Cardinals to the number 3 hole to take either, one says Anthony Richardson, another one says Will Levis. How in God's name do you move from 11, where Will Levis may be anyway, but how do you move from 11, you give up multiple picks to move up from 11 to 3 to take what amounts to the 3rd best quarterback in the draft and the 2 guys that are both a question mark? I mean, does this make, you were in personnel in the NFL, does this make any sense?
Wow. How long do you want to go on this segment? Because I'll tell you right now, I am not a fan of Will Levis. I'm even less of a fan of Anthony Richardson. I'm so sick and tired of having discussions that revolve entirely around arm strength and physical attributes, okay? If you're going to make that trade, you damn well better take Will Anderson out of Alabama because he'll be there at 3. And that's who the Cardinals want, all right? And I agree with you. I think Levis could be there, would likely be there. We're talking – here's what I need, and I don't get it. And I haven't asked Todd McShay about this. He's busy right now. He and I go back a long way. I haven't asked Mel about it. I get so weary of non-productive athletic quarterbacks. When I mean non-productive, if you're Anthony Richardson and you're as physically gifted as he is, and he is, nobody's disputing that, how do you complete 53% of your passes? Because if you complete 53% of your passes in college, I don't care how gifted you are, what do you think is going to happen at the next level? I think he is a bust waiting to happen, and I'm not so sure Will Levis isn't a bust waiting to happen. I think Will Levis is Jake Locker.
Yeah.
I
heard that's the second time I've heard that. Yeah, a bigger Jake Locker. I heard that from Teresa Walker out of Nashville last week. Yeah.
A gifted, athletic, rocket for an arm, but guess what? He throws the ball to the other team, and he's hurt a lot. And that's not a good investment, in my opinion. I keep hearing all this discussion, and, these are the types of picks sometimes that get you fired.
Yeah.
And you look at the 1998 draft. This is a great case in point. As you look at Ryan Leaf and you look at Peyton Manning, there would not have been a coach or a GM in that draft that would have said that Peyton Manning is more physically gifted than Ryan Leaf, because he wasn't. In fact, it wasn't even close. Ryan Leaf could do things with arm talent that Peyton Manning could never do, but it didn't matter. It was all of the other stuff. And I feel like all the other stuff with these two players in particular keep getting glossed over, and that's really frustrating for me.
Yeah. And if you're going to go that route, and I know we don't like his offense, I'm with you on that. We don't like the offense that he excelled in, but hell, if you're going to take a reach, Hendon Hooker, you know what I mean? I'm seeing a lot of people now saying, him getting picked near the bottom of the first round, Vikings, maybe something like that. Yeah. But really, can you make is Anthony Richardson any more a proven thing than Hendon Hooker is if he's healthy? I mean, at that point, if you're gonna guess.
Yeah. From the 3 years of coaching, right? And I want any of your listeners, and you included, to try and name more than three players over the last 30 years that have come from that college offensive system that have made an active roster and excelled as a starting quarterback in the NFL.
I only have Mahomes. I got Mahomes. Who else you got?
Okay. Yeah. Mahomes is one. We could make an argument that Jared Goff, he's played in a Super Bowl.
Not bad.
Okay.
So
not bad. Okay, so there's another one. And then it is really, really hard to do. Think of all the Baylor guys, all the Houston guys, all of the Texas Tech guys, all of the West Virginia guys, right? Tim Couch at Kentucky. None of them, not a single one, drafted or otherwise, has succeeded in the NFL that has come from that offense.
Aaron Rodgers wasn't running that. He wasn't running that at Cal back in the day, right?
He was Jeff Tedford. Yeah. They were pro style, multiple. So, but it's hard. That would worry me, because if you have that many guys that have thrown for 4,500 yards, 39 touchdowns, and blah 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 blah, but then the next guy plugs in and does the exact same thing, and the next guy plugs in and does the exact same thing, but none of them move on. What is that saying? And again, that's not a knock on the offensive collegiate level. It's been fantastic. It's been exciting, and it's produced great players. But when you're talking about the next level, if the offense has been, and I don't want to say dumbed down, but if the offense has been oversimplified to make it so quarterback friendly, I don't think that's reality at the next level.
Always a pleasure. Thom Luginbill has been our guest. Who's your game again? Oh, you got DC again, right? You got DC at DC. Now that's an important game for DC, because they can lock up home ice for the championship game if it ends up being there.
Huge, yeah.
If they end up making it.
The championship game's already been determined to be in San Antonio. They're going to do a neutral site.
Oh, I thought it was going to go to the home team. Okay, all right.
No, but they're locked up. They're locked up for the first round playoff game at home, which is big because that's the other home field advantage in the league aside from St. Louis. And because DC beat them twice, they'll play host and we'll probably sell the place out.
Good stuff. Always good stuff. And he does a tremendous job, Thom Luginbill. All right, Luke, good stuff. We'll talk next week.
All right, thanks, man.
All right, thanks. All right, hour number is that hour number one? Oh, that is hour number one. Hour number one is in the hopper. I know that music. That means hour number one is in the hopper. That music is. All right, coming up at the top of the hour, Justin Ferguson will join us from the Auburn Observer. We'll talk about Auburn's spring game, and then we're wide open the rest of the way, Philip, and we can get you in. And I know where Philip's going to go. He's going to talk about the sissification of starting pitching. I got some baseball I want to get to, too. And I got a rant about the havoc that it might slip in here. It's the Thom Abraham Show. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
The Huntsville Sports Commission is responsible for bringing high-level sports entertainment to the Rocket City. In 2023, enjoy events like the CCSA Beach Volleyball Championships, Hometown Lenders Championship, UCI Paracycling Road World Cup, and so much more. To learn more about upcoming events and the Huntsville Sports Commission, visit huntsvillesports.com. The Huntsville Sports Commission. We do sports.
When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here have trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
This is Wes Neighbors with Philip with Eagle Insulation, and we have an announcement to make.
Yes, Wes, we are now Eagle Masonry and Insulation. We're still a place to call for your insulation needs, but now we offer masonry services.
What kind of masonry projects can you handle?
Wes, no job is too big, no job is too small. We can do renovations, new construction, outdoor fireplaces, fire pits, brick landscape borders.
Well, when you came out to my house, you did both the insulation and masonry at the same time. You guys did rock for me, you did brick for me, and you insulated my house. That's usually done at the same time that you're building a house.
Absolutely. It really capitalizes on two services you need at the same time, and you can get one company to handle both of those.
Philip with Eagle Insulation will come out, do your installation. He'll do your masonry. They do a great job. They guarantee your work. Check out more online at insulatewitheagle.com and schedule your free examination today. 256-755-1556.
Thanks, Wes.
One of the best-kept golf secrets in the Tennessee Valley is Cherokee Ridge. Cherokee Ridge truly offers golf at a higher level with immaculate greens set against a spectacular Appalachian backdrop. This 18-hole championship course takes every advantage of rolling hills, whispering woods, lakes, and streams. Interested in becoming a member? Their membership plans feature affordable options for couples, families, and individuals. Book your tee time today. 256-841-4551. Cherokee Ridge. Championship quality, affordable prices.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
This is SportsCenter.
Good morning, I'm Doug Brown. The Minnesota Timberwolves play the Lakers in the NBA play-in tournament tomorrow night, and they could be without two key players. Jaden McDaniels is definitely out for the rest of the season with a broken right hand from punching a wall, and Rudy Gobert could be suspended for punching teammate Kyle Anderson. The Heat and Hawks also have a play-in game tomorrow night. The Ravens will sign wideout Odell Beckham Jr. to a one-year deal. ESPN's Adam Schefter reports it could be worth up to $18 million. The question now is, who's throwing the football? Quarterback Lamar Jackson is now under the franchise tag in Baltimore and wants to be traded. 42-year-old Padres DH Nelson Cruz with a 3-run homer. He drives in 6 as San Diego beats the Braves in Atlanta on Sunday Night Baseball.
WCZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Not looking or feeling your best? No energy for the things you like to do? Ready to look and feel younger? Make your appointment at Advanced Life Clinic, one of the region's foremost destinations for patients interested in looking and feeling their best. Specializing in advanced laser treatments and weight loss, male and female rejuvenation to offset the effects of aging, and more. See how Advanced Life Clinic can help you enjoy your life again. Call 256-882-6555 or log on at advancedlifeclinic.com.
My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard, and they're like, it's better than yours.
Spilled your milkshake? Quick, the quicker picker-upper.
Bounty picks up spills quicker. And each sheet is 2 times more absorbent, so you can use less than the leading Ordinary brand. So you can get back to your milkshake. My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard, and they're like, it's better than your Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
The best in local sports talk from the 256. We are local.
When you're number one, you don't have to worry.
We are award-winning. Thank you for listening. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You'll be set for life.
You need to be more like a dog.
Like what you guys are doing. You've got your fingertip on the pulse of your listeners. Guys know what they're talking about.
Be a dog.
God bless the show. You are the Messiah.
We need more dogs.
This is the best show on radio.
The big dog, Thom Abraham, is here with you.
Hey, I see you. I see you, dog.
So settle in and get your bark on.
That's my dog.
Now live, here he is, the big dog, Thom Abraham.
How you doing? 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 Look, I don't speak Spanish.
I don't know how to say this, so I'm going to choose my words very carefully. I think you're a psycho.
Do you know who I am?
I mean, that guy sounds like El McPherson farting into Miles Davis' trumpet.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond? Get off my... I have to drag my Yankee ass out of here.
And welcome back. Hour number 2 of the Thom Abraham Show. So glad that you are with us today. And you know what? This segment of the show is brought to you by Alumni Hall. Alumni Hall, you will find Alumni Hall right there at Bridge Street. Now, they're moving locations, but they're only moving a few doors down, you know, so you go there now, you get good deals, get your Auburn gear there, get your Alabama gear there at Alumni Hall. They got everything you could possibly want for the Tide and the Tigers at Alumni Hall. Bridge Street is where you'll find them, and you'll find me there coming up on April 20th. That will be a Thursday. We'll do the show there, lunchtime show there on April 20th. So come on down, say hello, and take advantage of the great deals that they have down there for all your Alabama and Auburn gear at Alumni Hall. All right, joining us now on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, Justin Ferguson of the Auburn Observer. We'll see what they observed at the spring game, and he joins us now. Justin, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm doing well, Tom. How are you?
I'm fantastic. You know, a great man once said...
He tried to end a game in a tie in the United States. Heck, that might be listed in Revelations as the cause for the apocalypse.
I think the apocalypse happened. A spring game tie. A spring game tie. And Hugh Freeze gave them the option. He said, want to go one play for all the marbles? And they said, no, we'll kick the field goal and have the spring game tie. What was your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I thought it was interesting because the decision was made by the two coordinators, Philip Montgomery and Ron Roberts, who decided, in the rain, they were going ahead and getting it done. But I think it was one of those things where this spring has been all about kind of just the balance on both sides of the ball, just good team culture and chemistry and all that. And I think so. It was kind of fitting to see them want to knock it home and try to get a tie and let everybody go home happy, enter the summer with some positive vibes. So, I would have loved to have seen a final play, just because I would love to see just kind of what they would have drawn up there with the ones. But I can understand that they wanted to kind of kick that field goal and get out of there with everybody being happy.
I didn't hate the format. I mean, a lot of times these spring games, they split it up, and I don't know if there was an issue with bodies, and, sometimes if a team's a little bit short number-wise, they'll do something. But I didn't hate the format. Give the defense 24 points and give the offense an opportunity to outscore them if they can do it. My question is this. When he said 24, did he know that he already decided that it would be a 3-quarter deal? Would it have been 24 for a 4-quarter deal? Because 24 and 3 quarters, that's a lot of points. I don't think he wants to give up 24 points in 3 quarters. Do you think the number was affected by the fact that it was a shortened game?
Yeah, I think a little bit. I do think so. And I also think that, part of the reason why it was shortened is just because the rain was so bad.
Right.
And it, I don't know how it came across on TV for everybody who was streaming it, but I mean,
it was pouring. That's what it looked like. It was pouring.
Yeah, you couldn't do anything there, much of anything. So I thought it was, one of those things where maybe next year, if the weather's good, you may bump up that amount a little bit more. But I did think it was pretty good for Auburn, though, to that offense to put together a few touchdowns, especially on a day where you weren't able to really throw the ball that much. I think that's a pretty good sign for the offense. They were able to at least match that number in 3 quarters.
From an offensive standpoint. I always look at things from a defensive standpoint because that's my coaching background. But it's always funny. You don't know how to evaluate these things. Hugh Freeze, literally, he said, boy, I thought we did some really nice things running the ball. We ran the ball well, but we got to do a better job stopping a run. So it's like, exactly. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like if you have your quarterback throws for 350 yards, against your defense. So it's like, and this was mostly 1-on-1s, 2-on-2s, for the most part. Yeah. So, it seemed like the offensive line has really come together well, but it seemed like the front 7 defensively, they missed some tackles. They didn't get their fits in there right. They, it seemed like there were some issues there in terms of, bowing their neck and stopping a run.
Yeah, I think, the thing with Auburn's defense is this was not a very good run defense last season. I think they were like 108 in the country or something like that. When it comes to rushing yards allowed per carry last year. So this was an area that you definitely needed to get better at, and it was going to be a work in progress. You're learning a new defense. You got some new linebackers out there, some new linemen. And so it was kind of one of those things where you'll live with some of it, but yeah, they need to get better at it, and everybody kind of knows that this crew, on defense, just has a lot of work to do up front. With what's going on. But, yeah, the offensive line, I thought, Auburn ran the ball pretty well last season at times, but there was a lot of Tank Bigsby breaking a bunch of tackles. There was a lot of guys getting hit in the backfield and having to make something happen. There were some legit holes kind of put up by that offensive line. Pretty much, I think every running back who touched the ball for Auburn had at least one explosive carry, which was really good to see. For Auburn to show the depth of that group. And, yeah, I think the offensive line is just really, those transfers have really kind of given them the next kind of step in this evolution of this offensive line. And I think, Auburn's got a really good chance to be able to run the ball pretty well next season. Everything else is kind of up for grabs and a lot of work to be done. But I feel pretty confident coming out of the spring thinking that Auburn's going to be able to run the ball pretty well.
Obviously, Dracuz Hunter will be the bell cow of this offense, and he looked good. But like you said, all these kids look good. I mean, Damari Austin looked good. Brian Batty looked good. Sean Jackson had 77 yards. They all had a play where they, broke something off pretty good. These guys aren't all going to play. I mean, who are the guys that are going to play, do you think, out of this group of running backs?
Yeah, I think you got to look at the scholarship guys there for sure. I mean, Dracuz Hunter is, he only got like 3 carries in this game, and they're like, all right, that's done.
We're good with that.
Good work for you. Let's go over to the sideline. We don't want you to get hit anymore. I think Damari Austin's got a really good chance to be that number 2, between the tackles back to spell Dracuz Hunter this season. And then Brian Batty is, can do some things between the tackles. And this is a guy who, on the smaller end, obviously, has got some real speed to him. Had a couple of really good plays where he got to kind of showcase some of those jets a little bit. I think he's a guy that you want to use in packages in certain situations, sets, that where he can kind of be a gadget player for you. And I think he's got the skill set to do that. He'll also probably be your top kick returner this year, so you'll get the ball in his hands in some fashion. And so I think that's kind of like the core 3. Not to take anything away from Sean Jackson, who had a good game. Justin Jones, another walk-on, who had a good game. But that's kind of where everything's kind of been concentrated with those guys. And I think if there's anybody who can kind of shake that up this year, Jeremiah Cobb comes in over the summer, as one of the best running backs in the Southeast from the 2023 class, from right down the road here in Montgomery. And, I think he's got he's got some really good talent right off the bat. Running back's one of those positions where you can be an instant impact type of player. So I would be surprised if Cobb's a guy who can get you a handful of carries a game or something like that. But I do think it's going to be, Hunter, Alston, with Batty doing some special stuff with his skill set, and then maybe Cobb can break through for you.
Yeah, Batty is he's like a Swiss Army knife, and he's got some great explosiveness. Now, with that weather, they only threw the ball 12 times. Can he catch the ball? I mean, is that part of his game? Is that he's that guy out of the backfield? Because you could see him getting in some space, and doing some damage out of the backfield as a receiver.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's going to be one of the things they really want to do with him. In addition to some sweeps and some other things, just find a way to get him in space and let him attack. With that speed. So he's got good hands. Cadillac Williams was talking about how much value you think he's going to be able to bring in the passing game this year for him. Jarquez Hunter's shown that he can be a good ball catcher. I think Jeremiah Alston's got that skill set as well. Jeremiah Cobb did a lot of that, at Montgomery Catholic. So this is a group that, especially with Auburn, not having a ton of established production at the wide receiver position, I think your running backs and your tight ends are going to be able to supplement that a lot this year. And so I do believe the guys out of the backfield are going to be really key parts of that.
No doubt about it. Justin Ferguson, our guest here. Now, as I said, didn't throw the ball around much. That these quarterbacks, they took advantage of that orange jersey a little bit. You know what I mean? They take off running. They know they can't get hit. I mean, come on. Now, I know they had a quick whistle, but not really. So we don't know anything there. It seems like it's Robbie Ashford's job to lose. He was with the ones to start this thing off. He was the ones to start off camp as well, and there's nothing to change that. Do you think that the battle at number 2 is heating up at all? And is TJ Finley going to hang around? I mean, is he willing to be the backup, and hang around here if that's the way this is going to go?
Yeah, I mean, he did say the other day, speaking of Finley, he did say the other day, if he is not going to be the starter, that does change things for him, and he might look at it as a way to move on. And he's supposed to be close to graduating, so he would be able to kind of hop back in the portal and find a new location if he does get his degree here. And I think the end of the semester is where a lot of folks thought the target date was for him. So it'll be interesting to see. I think Finley's probably your best candidate to make a move, just if he isn't going to be a guy who's a clear-cut starter. Yeah, Ashford, I thought, he had a good day, even though he didn't get to really throw the ball. He attempted 3 passes. He got one batted down at the line by a guy who wasn't blocked. He got another one broken up by K.N. Lee in the end zone. It was a really good fade ball he threw to Layden King, and it was just a really good play by the true freshman corner to knock it away. And then he had a 39-yard dart just right down the seam to Tavares Dawson. It was the best play of the day for Auburn. So thought Robbie did a really good job of that. Looked like he was a little bit more comfortable running the RPO stuff and doing, making decisions, making the right reads. The touchdown run he had, they were doing a quick whistle, but the way that play developed, nobody came near touching him, so he got to walk in the end zone basically. But, I think it does feel like Ashford's job to lose at this point, but we do know transfer portal opens up here later this week. We'll see who's in the quarterback, room when it comes to who's going to be available. Because that's the thing is no one knows for sure yet who is going to be out there. But Hugh Freeze saying he's open to doing so. But I do think it's just going to be a matter of what type of player is out there because he did say he feels like Auburn can win some games with the quarterbacks that they've got this year, and I think Ashford came out of that camp looking like the guy to beat. Holden Gardner, if he can continue to develop and get some more opportunities to showcase his arm, maybe he might make some noise there. But it does feel like Ashford or a transfer. We just don't know yet.
Yeah, for our listeners' sake, this is what Hugh Freeze had to say about the portal.
Well, I think you got to have somebody that can make the throws in tight coverage. And you got to have receivers that can get open in them too. And I think we're looking for some of that inconsistency in both spots. There's going to be some games you just can't. They're going to stop the run, and you're going to have to make some throws to win the game. And we're not proven in the room that we have that any of those have done that. I'm not saying they can't, and I'm certainly not down on them. I think we can win games with these guys. But should a guy that come available that is a dynamic guy that we think is already a proven commodity at doing that, I think we would have to at least look at that.
So not exactly a ringing endorsement for the guys he's got in the room. I mean, he could have come right out and said, no, we're good. Yeah, but he didn't. I don't know if that's motivation or, if they're really looking.
Yeah, he said they feel better about their quarterbacks than they did coming into spring. And I think if Robbie Asher was healthier in the spring, maybe you'd feel a little bit better. Maybe if you had an A-Day where it wasn't a torrential downpour and you got to throw the ball more, maybe you could feel a little bit better about that. But, yeah, it's just going to come down to who comes up in the portal. I don't think Auburn, is necessarily, as it stands right now, I don't think Auburn's going to get a guy that for the sake of getting a guy in the portal. But, if the right guy comes open, somebody who has a legit, background that you feel like could fit this offense, they'll go after him, I think. Now, if a guy like Finley or, somebody else decides to jump portal from the quarterback room and you need some more depth, maybe you go get a guy who's maybe younger or maybe not as proven to battle with you and compete. So it's really just going to be whatever the portal spits out at you here in these next couple of weeks.
All right, give us a couple other names that jumped out to you. Other than the offensive line play, obviously was very good. We didn't see anything out of receivers. They didn't throw the ball much. But who are a couple of guys that come out of this camp and saying, you know what, there's a guy that we maybe didn't expect this out of and is going to contribute?
Yeah, I would pick three true freshmen right off the bat for sure. I mentioned Caden Lee just a second ago. He had the big pass breakup on Landon King on a potential touchdown. Auburn ends up kicking a field goal on that drive. So he came up with a big play. Caden Lee was really your number 3 cornerback all camp long as a true freshman. I thought that was really impressive, and he's got a ton of talent. Connor Liu was your starting left guard in the spring game on Saturday. He's played some first-team reps there. A healthy Tate Johnson, maybe Cam Stutz also will compete for that job. But the fact that Connor Liu is a guy who's definitively going to be in the 2 deep as a true freshman on the offensive line and also potentially a starter, I think speaks volumes. And then Keldrick Falk, I thought Keldrick Falk looked really good on Saturday. He just only had a couple plays that he was able to make, but I think he moved around well, looked good at that jack linebacker spot. He's not going to be able to carry your pass rush as a true freshman, I don't think. But the potential is really, really high for him. And I think this will be a big summer for him to kind of continue to get used to, college football and the system and all that. And so that by the fall, they want to turn them loose. So those 3 true freshmen were really, really guys that popped out to me, in spring practices. And I think combine them with, a guy like Rivaldo Fairweather, big athletic side end, had an awesome camp. And then some other Auburn's inside linebackers, I think, could really take some steps forward as well. Austin Keys being a big one there, the transfer from Ole Miss. So true freshmen and transfers, I think, really did their job here in spring ball, and that they were guys that turned a lot of people's heads.
Always a pleasure. Oh, by the way, Alabama and Auburn baseball this weekend. Give me your little thumbnail impression of the baseball team so far at the beginning of the season here.
Man, the thing for Auburn baseball is if they can get some consistent pitching, they can be a real force. This team can hit the ball. They've got guys who can hit it for power. They've good OBP guys. But, man, their pitching has really let them down this year. They're missing Joseph Gonzalez pretty badly with that injury that he's had. And it's just, this past weekend they walked a ton of guys against Texas A&M. They had a hard time getting, really good bullpen arms to kind of eat innings for them. So it's just been real shaky once, guys get past like the first time through the order. So it is tough because this has been a tough year for Auburn's pitching staff so far. But if they can get healthier, maybe settle in, they can make some noise because I think their bats can hang with anybody. It's just, they're having a hard time not playing shootouts, here recently just because of that pitching staff.
You know what they haven't done? They haven't given up 7 runs on a no-hitter. Because that's what our minor league team did up. They had a kid that went 6 strong, only threw 78 pitches, went 6 innings strong in a 7-inning game, and they pulled him out for the 7th inning. And the guys that came in, they walked 5 guys, they hit 4 guys, they committed 6 errors, all in 1 inning to lose the game 7-5. One of them was Ben Joyce. Remember Ben Joyce from Tennessee, right? The flamethrower. They're hitting people, walking people, wild pitches, dropping the ball in the outfield. I mean, it was all hell broke loose. And and they lost a no-hitter 7-5. Can you believe that?
Yeah, there's very few times you're ever going to see 7 runs, 0 hits on a line score. So that's that was absolutely wild. I remember seeing that first pop up on social media this weekend, and I was just like, okay, I need somebody to break it down for me. So I ended up I've read like every story that's come out about that because I just had to figure out how in the world that happened.
It's fascinating. And then they came back in the nightcap with a 1-hitter and won that one 3-0. You know what I mean? They just won that one 3-0. But it was, that was kind of crazy stuff. But it happens. All right, man. Well, I guess it doesn't really. It doesn't happen, but it did happen, I should say. All right, man. I appreciate you as always. Great stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Tom.
All right, that's Justin Ferguson, Auburn Observer, where they're observing everything Auburn over there. That's why they call it the Auburn Observer. Okay. All right, let's get a break in here. We are open lines the rest of the way. Okay, so if you want to get in, 256-5764-97.7. The Huntsville Havoc are going to play potentially their first 2 playoff games at their practice rink. Why? I will share my thoughts on that with you. Also, the Tampa Bay Rays are doing something that's never been done since, I don't think, ever. Okay? Well, it did happen ever, but I'll tell you when and what I think about that. Plus, the NHL and NBA playoffs are getting ready to start. And look, my beloved Boston Bruins have broken the record for the most wins in a season, but I'm going to call BS on that, and I'll explain that as well. It's all coming up the rest of the way on the Thom Abraham Show, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
TOC Sports has been there for you. Now, you're probably asking yourself, what does that mean? It means for more than 20 years, Alabama's largest orthopedic group has been there providing coverage and care to more schools and student athletes in the Tennessee Valley than any other group. It means whether you are the star football player, the all-region volleyball ace, or someone who hurt their knee in a weekend pickup basketball game, TOC Sports physicians are proud to have the opportunity to care for all your orthopedic needs. It means for parents, coaches, athletes, desk jockeys, or even weekend warriors, TOC Sports physicians continue to meet and exceed the orthopedic and sports medicine needs of our community. But most importantly, during these challenging times, we're here for you now, and will continue to be here. So as long as there are players on the field, games to be played, and contests to be won, the orthopedic specialists from TOC Sports will be ready to help. We don't know what the future holds, but you can count on the TOC Sports team to stay committed to you, so you can stay in the game. Call 256-539-2728 today and ask to see a TOC Sports physician. Check them out online, also Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
The 2023 Atlanta Braves are back, and with a loaded roster of young talent and some new faces in the A, it's going to be another wild season.
First pitch is drilled to center field, sprinting in Harris, he dives, and Michael's got it!
Tonight, the big National League battles roll on from Truist Park in Atlanta as the Braves square up with the Cincinnati Reds. Braves Radio goes on the air at 6:05 Eastern, 5:05 Central on the Atlanta Braves Radio Network.
If you're ready to lower your utility bills, it's time to call Eagle Insulation. Eagle can handle it all. Attic re-insulation, insulation removal, wall insulation, and new construction insulation, commercial and residential. Our primary goal is to save you money, and lots of it. Typical clients realize their return on investment within 3 to 6 months. That means the re-insulation actually pays for itself and then some. See if we can help you. Contact Eagle Insulation today, 256-755-1556, or log on insulatewitheagle.com.
Hey folks, Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford. If you've been considering owning a new Mustang, Explorer, Expedition, Edge, Escape, or Bronco Sport, we have 0% financing for 60 months on 22 models of those vehicles. This won't last long because as we sell off our 2022s, 0 for 60 goes with it. When they're gone, they're gone. Let me repeat, Woody Anderson Ford has 22 models of Bronco Sport, Explorer, Escape, Edge, Expedition, and Mustang with financing as low as 0% for up to 60 months. But when they're gone, it's gone. And of course, it's with your good credit through Ford Motor Credit. This offer ends April 29th. Woody Anderson Ford can also help you trade in and trade up on a Ford Blue Advantage Gold Certified or Blue Certified pre-owned vehicle. Great warranties, 24-hour roadside assistance, and a full tank of gas and a fresh oil change. Don't forget 0 for 60 on select 22 models while they last. Woody Anderson Ford, Hope to see you soon.
Progressive presents Adjusting to the Suburbs.
I never thought about space in my cramped apartment, but in this house, all I see is empty space. The sofa and ottoman look like tiny islands in a sea of hardwood floors. I could get 2 ottomans in the living room, but then I'd need another sofa. I could tell people I'm into minimalism.
Anyway, when you save with Progressive by bundling your home and auto, that's the easy part of adjusting to the suburbs. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company. Coverage provided and serviced by affiliates and third-party insurers.
It's an amazing time in our industry. Things are changing so rapidly. With digital signatures and workflow software, we help our customers work from anywhere. This helps you save time and money and upgrade your technology. Like I said, it's an amazing time to watch our customers grow and succeed.
Just ask anyone. The Liosi Group.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Emily Owen. For this Monday, expect plenty of sunshine. High temperature is going to be topping out in the upper 60s, lower 70s for some. It looks like we're going to stay quiet heading into your Monday night. A clear sky to be expected. Low temperature is going to be falling into the mid-40s heading into the overnight. We'll continue to see sunshine throughout the week, but rain chances return on Thursday. I'm meteorologist Emily Owen on your home for ESPN Radio 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
This is the only place for Drew DeArmond, Wes Neighbors, and of course, Thom Abraham.
I never met him, but I hear that he's a man of character.
97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
This is Eli Gold, voice of the Alabama Crimson Tide. Now, more of the Thom Abraham Show on your home for Crimson Tide Sports 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Roll Tide.
Welcome back, Thom Abraham Show. All right, phone lines are open the rest of the way. 256-5764-97.7 will get you into the show. Grizz, the Tampa Bay Rays, are on this ridiculous start to the season because it's one thing that they have gone out there and they're 9-0, okay? Because they're 9-0, okay? But they are pounding the crap. Now, they have played, I'm telling you when I say this, they have played the 3 worst teams in baseball, all right? 9 games against the Nationals, the Tigers, and the Athletics. And these are documented the 3 worst teams in baseball. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. But they have beaten them 75-18. They had back-to-back 11-0 wins over the A's, who are just, stealing money from the rest of Major League Baseball. So they're plus 57 run differential in the first 9 games of the season. Okay, these are the highest 9-game differentials in the history of baseball. The 1884 St. Louis Maroons, they were plus 78. The 1884 New York Gothams, they were plus 63. The 2023 Tampa Bay Rays are plus 57. The 1882 Providence Grays were plus 54. And the 1876 Hartfords of Brooklyn were plus 51. So the Rays are in there with 4 teams that don't even exist from the 1800s.
They were able to do that by beating 3 teams that have combined a 7-21 record so far. And
on the one hand, you could say that's because they're playing the Rays. Those 3 teams, they all got swept by the Rays. But on the other hand, they just suck. I mean, they just are a really bad team. But I mean, they've beaten them.
Yeah,
they've won
like
every one of their 9 games by 4 runs or more.
Hey, but they're benefiting off the new rule. They're benefiting off of everything that's going on. I wish they could say the same for the Braves. In a way, I wish guys could hit.
Well, we'll see what happens with the Rays. Are playing the Red Sox today.
Yeah,
the Red Sox are 5-4. Now the Red Sox are not great, but they're not. They're 5-4. They're a real baseball team. All right, so they're an actual baseball team. So we'll see what happens with them. You don't think get all melodramatic about the Braves. They lost 3 out of 4 to a very good Padre team. It's early in the season. It's a lost
relax.
Weekend. That's all. It's not.
I mean, just how
deal.
bad though? Because I mean, the Braves beat the Nationals. The Braves beat the Cardinals. How bad are the Cardinals? They're 3-6 right now. They're sitting at the bottom of the Central. So. When I'm sitting here watching the Brewers, I'm like, oh, that's the Brewers. They're going to do it. They're going to destroy the Central and then just somehow lose it.
No, it's way obviously way too early to even be talking about standings. Because if we were talking about standing, I mean, look at the Yankees. They're 3 back. They're 6-3 and they're 3 back because Tampa Bay's gone out 9-0, 9-0. It's way too early. You know my rule. I don't even look at the standing. I'll tell you when the standings become. Now I want my team playing well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want my team playing well. There's no doubt about that. But the reality is that for me, it's Memorial Day. All right, give me Memorial Day. All right, I need to have 50 or 60 games in there. That's my first barometer is Memorial Day. And now, depending on how you're doing a Memorial Day, and then the next thing I look at is the All-Star break. Where are you at the All-Star break? That kind of stuff. But, look, these games are going to count just as much when you get to the end of the season. I'd rather win the last 9 games of the season than the first 9 games of the season. But, 9 games are 9 games. And, Toronto and Boston, the National League, the American League East, 5 of the 16 or 4 of the 5 teams are all over 500, and Baltimore is 4-5, and they look pretty sporty. And in the NL East, the Mets are kind of, somehow scrapped together 5-5. Miami's at 4-6. The Atlanta, losing 3 out of 4 and 3 straight, is still leading the division, at 6-4. They're the only team in the division with a winning record. And that's going to change probably, right? I mean, if you're looking for a surprise, I don't know, maybe Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's won 6 of the first 9 games. Is that a bigger surprise than St. Louis losing, 6 of their first 9 games?
I mean, honestly, didn't expect it. I thought they would have. I thought the Braves series would have gone a lot better because that always seems to be like a difficult series for the Braves.
For the Cards?
For the Braves and the Cards. Yeah, just against the Cards.
You're saying it would have been better for the Cards. You didn't think the Cards were going to get swept at home by the Braves?
No, not at all. No. Not at all. I don't think anybody did, honestly, going into that series.
So did Phillip hang around or not?
No, I haven't heard back from him. I haven't heard back from Jeff from the Borough as well. He said he was going to call in, so maybe they'll call in right when I have the mic wide open.
256-576-4977 will get you guys in. Our soccer team won. They won a shootout thing.
He tried to end a game in a tie in the United States.
Well, even they didn't have a tie.
That might be listed in Revelations as the cause for the apocalypse.
Now, they've yet to win. They played 3 games. They've yet to win a game, actual
regular time.
An outright win. An outright win. Their record is 0-1-2 with 2 shootout wins. So they get the extra 2 points in the shootout. But then there's the Havoc. I understand this, and I've talked to the owner about it, but I'm not happy. I'm just going to say I'm still not happy. The Havoc, they're opening up their first round playoff series against the Knoxville Icebergs. The Havoc are the 3 seed. Knoxville is the 6 seed. This is a bitter rivalry. All right? 2 of the 3 games will be played in Huntsville. Game 1 and Game 3 if necessary. Okay? But this week, Disney on Ice Into the Magic is at the VBC. between April 13th and April 16th. Oh, we're playing the playoffs. Now, look, it's not like the Havoc haven't been in the playoffs all 20 years. Have the Havoc ever missed the playoffs? No, I don't think so. They're in the playoffs every single year. And this is the week they always start the playoffs right about now. Don't be booking the business Disney on Ice. Now, look, 5,500 people will go to that game. I guess, though, it's more profitable for the building. I understand this. For the Probst Arena at the VBC, I guess it's more profitable for them to have the Disney on Ice for 3 or 4 nights. I guess that they do. Can we play the hockey game during one of the Disney on Ice shows? I know there's no boards. There's just those little tiny boards. And here's the dirty little secret, Grizz. You know all that crazy stuff? Have you ever been to a Disney on Ice show or any kind of an ice show?
Yeah, I have, actually.
The ice is super soft. That's it. They do the ice. They make the ice really soft. When they do that show.
I actually went to like a skating show at the Iceplex before, as well.
At the Iceplex.
Yeah, it wasn't like a hockey game. It was like a show. It was actually really nice. It was a girl I was dating in high school, and I went to go watch her, and then a bunch of other people were performing and stuff. So yeah.
I've never been to the Iceplex. I'll be honest with you. I've never been to the Iceplex. How many people can sit and watch a game at the Iceplex? Anybody? Do they have any grandstand? Like, a grandstand on one side, don't they?
I think it's like
Can
300 to 500 maybe?
300 to 500?
Maybe 300 to 500.
How are they determining who gets to go to the game? Does anybody get to go to the game? Are they determining, are they having a lottery or anything?
No,
or does anybody go?
I don't know if it's first come, first serve, or like if season ticket holders get something first, or...
There's a couple of thousand season ticket holders. I just don't understand it. I don't get it. I don't like it.
Nah, it's not cool, especially when you're in the playoffs and you want that home feel, and it's just, they've done it before in the past, and it seems like the Disney on Ice has always been a factor. The first round of the playoffs.
The Huntsville Havoc have the greatest home ice advantage in all of the SPHL.
Because there's so many of us that come.
They have the best home ice advantage of anybody in the league, and it's gone. It's neutered for this game.
The two games in Quad City that they had this past weekend, the attendance was just like a little over. I think it was like a little over 5,000 that they had for the one game back at Huntsville. So it's like that one game at Huntsville was more than, almost as more as 2 games at Quad City. So there's a factor there.
So they'll play Thursday at the Huntsville Ice Sports Complex, Friday in Knox Vegas. Hopefully it ends there, and then come back for Sunday if necessary. Let's just hope it just ends. You know what I mean? Let's just hope that whole thing just ends there, and then we don't have to have any more issue with it, because that's I don't like it. I don't like it. All right, speaking of hockey, too, let me get one other hockey note in here. The Bruins have established a new all-time record in terms of wins in a regular season with 63 wins, with their 63rd win. Now, I'm just going to say this about that. They eclipsed the record of 62 wins by the 1995-96 Detroit Red Wings. But Grizz, in 1995-96, they didn't have a shootout where you got credit for a win. And the Bruins, of their 63 wins this season, 4 of their wins were shootout wins. This is something that didn't exist back when the Detroit Red Wings were winning 62 games. They actually won 62 games. The Bruins have won 59 games, and then they've got 4 shootout wins. You know what I mean? Which gives them 63.
Yeah.
And they now have 131 points, something like that, and they're about to try and pass the record of the Montreal Canadiens, who in 75 or 76, somewhere 75, 76, something like that, had 132 or 133 points. Ironically, went on to beat the Bruins in the Stanley Cup that year. But again, they didn't have the extra point. They didn't have the chance to win the extra point in any overtime, much less a shootout. Now we go to this contrived shootout, and we give a point for something that is a shootout, just a shootout. And we give a win for that. So the Bruins have won 59. If you want to compare apples to apples, the Bruins 63 games that they won this year versus the 62 games won by the Detroit Red Wings in 95-96, those were actually, they won those games. They won them.
Well, see, that's the thing about hockey, though. You make the overtime worth it, because why do you even record the overtime losses? Like, that's what the one thing I didn't understand about. I understand that. Yeah, it's like, but that was before, like, when I never understood hockey, where it was just like, why do you have an overtime? Like, why do you record it if you lost in overtime? Because it's like in soccer, they both get a point, and then the PKs decide that one extra point.
That's what happens in hockey. Yeah. They both get a point, and then there's an extra point for overtime or the shootout, either one. So the thing is that they call those shootout wins. So the Bruins had 59 wins in regulation and 4 shootout wins. Well, the Detroit Red Wings back in the day, they didn't have the opportunity to go to a shootout after overtime and get a cheap win. Those are cheap wins. I mean, I'll be honest with you. It's just like that XFL. Those are cheap wins. When you give a win, I mean, you play an entire hockey game, 60 minutes, right? The game is tied. You each get 1 point, and then you get one more point for a shootout for penalty kicks? I don't like it.
I wouldn't mind if baseball got into the whole like point system where we decided the playoffs by that. You know, kind of how
you only have wins and losses in baseball.
Well, it's like if it went to it went to extras, it was like if it was like a factor, like
no, because then they might play for extra. You know what I mean? They might not play as aggressively. No, I love baseball's great. A winner and a loser. Yeah. That's it. Yeah. You don't have.
If you tried to end a game in a tie in the United States. No. Heck, that might be listed in
home run derby to decide the point.
Calls for the apocalypse.
Right. Home run derby. That's what it would be like. Free throws.
Yeah.
You know, in the NBA.
I mean, yeah, it's just baseball. It's just so much, just confusing.
It's crap. Let me get LSU Lynch in here. Lynch, welcome to the show. How are you?
Fired up about this havoc that we have to go through every year. You know, my kids, if you said you've never been to the Iceplex, correct?
I've not been to the Iceplex.
It's so small. I mean, the Oompa Loompas would have a hard time sitting in there, okay? I don't know how many, but you have to be a season ticket holder just to get in, and then you really have to be a season ticket holder that spends a lot of money just to get a seat in there. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, it's garbage. It is garbage because, like you said,
how many people can they put in there?
If you're looking at the main, I don't know if 500 people could fit in there, dude.
How do they determine who gets to go?
I don't know that secret, but the only secret that I do know, because I'm not a season ticket holder, but we go to more than half the game every year, just because we pick out the same seats, and because the lower level seats, those are all season ticket holders, all the box seats. So, like I said, we sit in 306, second row right there, great seats. But you have to be connected. And I've got some connections, and I still can't get in to these games. But you're right. I mean, Disney must be making a whole lot of money.
They do, because they get like 4 straight nights of those shows, right? So they're going to make, look, there's no doubt that the VBC is making more money on 4 nights of Disney versus 1 hockey game. Maybe 2 hockey games, but 1 hockey game for sure, because they might not even have a third game. You know what I mean? They might not even have that second hockey game. So they're going to make more, but it sucks. I understand. I'm going to say this. I understand it, but it sucks. Why can't it be next month? I mean, our playoffs are not that long in the SPHL. The playoffs will be over like in a hiccup.
Well, what gets me is like, they do these jersey sales, and they make so much money. I mean, you're talking $38,000 when they do these jersey sales, and it's an SPHLT. So there's, like I said, there's money in this town that supports this hockey team. You were talking about the baseball players. thank goodness that their salary increased, But I guarantee you, these hockey players here, they're making money, son. And they make a lot of money here because this town loves them. We love them. So
I don't know that the players make a lot of money, though. I mean, they do all right.
They're getting paid on the side. Well,
yeah, but they a little something going on there.
But thank you for taking my phone call. Hope y'all had a great Easter weekend. And like I said, congrats to Grizz on his Masters championship win.
Grizz, what did you win in the Masters?
I appreciate that.
What Masters championship win did you have?
I had Schauffele, Spieth, and Thomas. So, I mean, I had a pretty good effective win. But
you had a good team. No, Thomas missed the cut.
But I didn't win, though.
Tanked.
So I did tank then. You
tanked. You're zero. You're most of our field was zero.
Well, I appreciate him then.
Either Justin Thomas or Rory McIlroy. Everybody had Justin Thomas or Rory McIlroy on their team. Those guys missed the cut. They were all wiped out. If you missed it earlier, Grumpy won our. I don't even know if Grumpy plays miniature golf. What's Grumpy going to do at Cherokee Ridge?
Enjoy the pool.
So, Grizz, I told you that the AA guys. Well, no, because all he won was he won a round of golf for 4 for this. This was just a round of golf for 4. So the AA players make $30,250 a year now, up from $13,800. AAA was making $17,500 to be a AAA baseball player, one breath away from the majors. AAA is now making $35,800.
That's rough.
That's shocking.
I think I don't know what the Havoc make, but I mean, it just feels like
not a lot. $300 or $400 a game, maybe $300 a game. I forget what it is. It
wasn't like
it's not a lot.
I'll tell you that the indoor football, they weren't getting paid a whole lot because I saw a couple of those checks.
$250.
Yeah, I saw a couple of them checks.
Yeah. I was getting paid more to do the game on the air than the players were getting paid to play the game. It's ridiculous. They get a creation of a joint clubhouse nutrition committee to oversee meal quality and increase the per diem money. They get transportation to and from the ballpark. How about that?
By the way, I saw something about the Iceplex. It's held 2,300 people for like junior hockey. So, the building itself is, but it's hard to see. Like if you're not in there watching.
See. It's so tiny.
But there's also another spot that's got like glass and you can like watch from the lobby. I don't know if they like have that.
I don't think they're counting that, are they?
I don't know. I don't know if that's in that or if that's including inside as well. Because it's all like one side. You can only sit on one side. Yeah.
You'd think it would all be in the grandstand. All right, we get a break. We'll come back. Phone lines are open. I got a couple other Masters notes just to put the Masters to bed. And just looking through my notes here. Yeah, we'll get those in. All right, it's the Thom Abraham Show, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Two Maids and a Mop. That's all you need to know to clean house. Two Maids and a Mop is an award-winning company, bonded and insured. Hire them for yourself, or they have gift cards if you want to make someone else's day. Find out more online at twomaidshuntsville.com. A maid service worth talking about. Two Maids and a Mop take care of everything. They supply all the cleaning equipment needed. Call 256-883-6243. The only finger you'll need to lift is the one to call them.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Chapman Commercial Realty, your source for Alabama commercial real estate. Chapman Commercial Realty has the experience and expertise you're looking for when making commercial real estate decisions. If it's office space, retail space, investment property, or project development, Chapman Commercial Realty is your answer. Call Bill Chapman today at 256-656-8413. That's 256-656-8413. Or find him online at chapmancommercialrealty.com.
When I chose a garage door company, I did my homework. I needed Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. They have a 5-star Google rating. I checked their reviews and liked what their customers had to say. Precision Overhead Garage Door has lifetime warranty packages. Same-day service if I call before 2 p.m. If they can't make it the same day, my service call fee the next day is waived. They did a 25-point safety inspection on the door and operator. Now that's peace of mind. Residential, commercial, and gate services. Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. Call 256-400-4500.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. You know, you'll hear people say we're like a family, but here at the Lackey Law Firm, that's really true, not just a saying.
I'm Justin Lackey. With my father and my sister, we have a special connection to each other.
I'm Jennifer Lackey. At the Lackey Law Firm, when we take on your case, you become part of our family. You really do.
And we'll always do whatever it takes to get everything you deserve.
If you're injured, you worry about getting well, not about paperwork or insurance companies or figuring out how to get to your lawyer's office. I'll come to you.
We worry about your case so you don't have to.
When you've been injured, we know that your case is probably the biggest thing going on in your life. More important than almost anything else.
And it's important to us too, for one simple reason. Family takes care of each other, and at the Lackey Law Firm, we'll take care of you.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
North Alabama Mortgage has just the right product for you when it comes time to get pre-qualified for your mortgage. Pre-approved, I should say, not pre-qualified, pre-approved for your mortgage. It's North Alabama Mortgage standing by for you. And when you're pre-approved, then you can look at a house and you can look at it with the confidence that you're making an offer that's going to get accepted because you're ready to close. You can close that day. If they were ready to close, then you'd be ready to close because you are pre-approved. I mean, that's just the way it works with North Alabama Mortgage. Get a home valuation done by North Alabama Mortgage as well. As the rates have stabilized, you know, you're sitting there and you're wondering about what you have in terms of your own home, what value you have in your home. North Alabama Mortgage can help you with that in Tennessee, Alabama, and Florida. It's North Alabama Mortgage. Brian Hamaker and his team always there for you at North Alabama Mortgage. Let me get to the phones. The Philip is up first. Philip, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm okay. Did you get my text about Robin Roberts pitched a 17-inning complete game?
I did see that.
Look it up. Look it up. It's there, and he's in the Hall of Fame. So if he can do it, I don't understand why these other sissies can't do it. Second thing, really quick, you know I'm a Mets fan.
Yeah.
But if they ain't on, I'm tuning into a Pittsburgh Pirates game because I love watching that 6'7" shortstop Cruz dude.
Isn't that something?
What happened with him at home plate was Cruz's mistake. The catcher did nothing wrong. I don't even understand what the blow-up is. I hate it that the kid got hurt.
You know what? I don't even know that. I don't even know that story. I'm not even up to snuff on that story. What happened there with Cruz?
Oh. So it was Pittsburgh and Chicago White Sox.
Yeah.
Cruz was at third, on the offensive.
Oh, this is the home plate collision. Yeah, okay. This is the collision at home. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that was absolutely silly. That's the dumbest thing. What's the catcher supposed to do? Just not jump up and catch the ball? I mean, The real person responsible was whoever Cruz's teammate was that was next at bat. Guy.
Did we lose him?
There's absolutely nothing wrong.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm looking at it right now. Look, the benches are going to empty because that's what they do in baseball. But the throw is high. He goes up, catches it, comes down, lands on the guy, and he's got a broken ankle. I mean, that's sports. People get hurt in sports. That's what happens. It's sports.
That's what happens in sports. And one more thing. I don't know if I've covered this with you or not. I think I have. I cannot deal with my Facebook got shut down for a little bit, and they finally figured out it wasn't me. This chick basketball thing is the dumbest thing on the face of the earth. There is no comparison, none whatsoever, to, I'm going to define them by color because I don't know their names.
Oh, we lost him. The Facebook shut down his phone?
Yeah, I'm sure Facebook, probably
Facebook must have shut down his phone. So there's the white chick and the black chick, right? Clark. Is that her name? What's the white girl's name? Clark and Angel.
Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese.
Angel Reese. Clark and Reese. Oh, I did see what he posted there. He posted a thing from, basically, I'll summarize it. What he posted was from Barstool. And Dave, what's his name, Portnoy or Portnoy. Portnoy posted that the two situations were different because when Clark did that, see what the thing, she did it during the game, and it was like, as the game was going on, heat of the moment, trash talk type thing. Whereas when Reese did it, the game was ending, it was over, it was a big win, 30 point, whatever the point differential was, it was already over, and she dropped the can you see me now thing on her and then pointed at her finger, and that it was much worse than what Clark had done. I don't know. It doesn't bother Clark, it doesn't bother me. I think that the two situations are pretty much the same. It's not that big a deal. She did it after. The other one did it during the heat of the moment. The Reese girl did it after. You know what I mean? It's you know what? Clark doesn't have a problem with it. And if Caitlin Clark doesn't have a problem with it, who am I to have a problem with it? Can I get Greg in quick? Yeah. Greg, what do you got?
Hey, I was going to tell you my Disney on Ice story. So my daughter's like 5 or 6 years old, and I'm working down in Birmingham, and I had finagled some front row tickets. And I guess if you're doing 200 shows a year like they do, they're not all going to be crisp. And on this particular night, the Disney on Ice was not exactly crisp. So we get to intermission, we get to halftime, and whatever you call it. And I looked at my daughter and I go, "That was great. Are you ready to go home?" And she bought it. She bought it. And she looked up and she looked up and she said, "Can I have one of those, whatever?" And I said, "You absolutely can." And we went and bought it, and we got out of there. And it was the greatest thing ever. And it was like she was like 25, 30 years old before.
Oh, really?
I finally came clean on that.
It's like when they told me when I was 7 years old that my dog ran away. That he ran back to the old house. He really ran out of the street and got killed. I came home from school. I'm like, "Where's my dog?" Dog ran back to the old house. He ran away.
Oh, he did.
The dog was. I bought it. I didn't find out until I was like 30. My parents told me. By the way, remember when Blackie ran away? She actually ran out in the street and got hit by a car. I'm like, why do you have to tell me that now?
That's exactly what my daughter did.
All right, man. Good story. Good job by you, Greg. Great story to finish the show on.
Applaud to him. That was great.